You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Woohoo! 600
episodes.
600 episodes.
Of the Bible Guys.
Yeah, not just of HC Daily.
That's right.
Because how many do we have of those?
Well, altogether, I was just looking that up. Let me find it again. Altogether,
for those
between...
of you who may not know, we started this as a small group kind of thing, and we did a bunch of episodes on HC Daily, not really ever intending to continue.
Yeah, so with HC Daily and the Bible Guys combined is 658 episodes.
We only did 58 episodes of the HC Daily?
No, 700, I'm sorry. 758 episodes.
758.
Yeah.
So we did 158 episodes of the HC Daily.
Yeah. So it's either 758 or 763.
Okay.
Yeah.
But around there.
Yeah. Over 760. Let's say 760 episodes.
Okay.
All combined. But
wow.
You and me, just with the Bible Guys, 600 episodes.
And it's this one. This is the 600th.
Yeah. And so, hey, listen, people, for those of you who've been listening a long time, we're going to try really hard with this one.
Okay.
Right? We're going to see if we can finally get it right.
We're going to shoot above mediocrity.
That's right. We're going to elevate the bar to, so-so.
So. That's great.
Yeah. That's our new commitment.
Yes.
We're all in on getting it so-so.
And today's Friday.
Yeah.
And
which is everybody's favorite day because it's the most likely day for us to celebrate everybody's favorite
it doesn't always
episode.
happen.
It doesn't always happen, but everybody's favorite episode.
It's
our
not
long-term
true.
fans know everybody's favorite episode. Hey, listen, do you remember when I told you earlier this week that I met with some kids that used to be in my youth group, and now they're married and they have four little girls?
Yeah.
The little girls said that their favorite part is what made Chris mad this week.
Oh, is it really?
Yep. And they're pretty sure they know all the things that made Chris mad this week. I said, trust me, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of what makes Chris mad.
That's true.
So they're sitting here super excited, girls.
Yep.
Here he is. Chris, what made you mad this week?
Well, when I saw the question and I knew it was upon me, I immediately thought of something that happened on Monday.
Oh, I looked at the sheet and said, oh, it's what made Chris mad this week. And you go, oh, I already know what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't even have to think twice.
Yes. Okay, so here it is. It comes down to one sentence, which is, have you ever been really super excited about something?
Yes.
And you really wanted the other person to experience it as well. Like, have you ever said, like, oh, to your wife or something, you'd say, I can't wait till you taste this steak.
Yeah, you're going to love this.
You're going to love this, or this movie, or you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And they completely reject it. And they don't even give it a time of day. This is what happened to me. So, and it happened with the movie Wicked.
Okay.
Okay, so now that you have that context, allow me to expand.
And you are a massive fan of Wicked. It's a 10 out of 10, you said.
It's a 10 out of 10. So just so everybody knows, there's probably less than 20 movies in my lifetime that I've given a 10 out of 10.
And Chris has seen all the movies.
No, that's not true.
So there's 20 out of the gajillion movies that you've seen.
And most of them, that are phenomenal, they get 9.5.
What are other 10 out of 10s? Everything that Zac Efron's in.
And
and then Wicked.
High School Musical gets a 10 out of 10. No.
Okay.
I immediately can say that I've given Endgame and Infinity Wars, both of those movies,
of those are 10s.
10 out of 10.
Okay, so those are substantial.
Those are substantial.
Significant.
Yeah, it has to be substantial.
The complexity of it, the scale of it,
the
intensity
about
of it, the editing of it, the acting in it.
I don't want to get too much into it because I have a story here.
Okay.
But I do have a rating scale.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It has to be 10 out of 10 means like it lacks nothing.
Right, that's right.
Okay.
And just so you know, when Chris gives you a number scales, if he thinks something is really good, he'll go, dude, that was a solid 8.
Yes.
And that's like a massive compliment from you to say it's a solid 8.
Yeah, 5 is neutral.
And because you are stingy with 9s, and 10s almost never exist.
Right.
That's in Chris's rating scale.
If I see, like, for instance, a sermon on a Sunday morning, and they come down, and I'm like, that is incredible. I'm like, dude, that was like an 8.5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you've given me a couple 7s, which make me feel so incredibly honored.
I've given you 8s.
Man, alive. So I've been super excited.
Yeah, a 9 is like life-changing.
Yes.
A 10 is something you'll never, ever forget. Anyway, the point is, I'm not even into my story yet.
Go ahead, please.
Is that I went to this person. I'm not going to tell you her name, but I'm like,
you know who you are.
But you know who you are. I go, you got to watch Wicked. It's just great. So she goes home, comes back, and says, I see her, the next time I see her, and she says, yeah, I just don't understand the hype, and it was okay. I said, well, were you into it, or were you? So, it was on, it was in the background. And I just get infuriated. I said, what do you mean? You're saying you turned it on and you didn't completely dedicate your entire attention
the next
to this
3
movie?
hours to it?
It is 3 hours.
Yeah, for the first half.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
Now, the real Wicked only lasts 2 hours in the theater, but or 2.5 hours.
Well, sure, but
we got to make this movie.
But rightfully so.
We got to make this movie 6 hours for the 2.5 hour theater show. But that's okay. Go ahead.
But rightfully so.
Okay.
Because, for instance,
I haven't seen it yet.
When you create a movie,
don't ruin it for me. What happens?
No. When you create a movie, like for instance, in the Wicked Broadway show, which I've seen 5 times.
I've seen twice.
Okay. They're like, when they walk into Oz, they're like, oh, look, it's Oz. And of course, the set isn't exactly that elaborate, right? They're like, oh, look, we're in Oz. That's it. It lasts 1 second. In the movie, they literally, because it's a movie, they have to create Oz and the splendor of Oz. Dude, that takes like 7 minutes just for them to show you Oz, right? And so naturally, the movie's going to be way longer because it creates emotion and it creates character depth. Yeah. So so they take more time to give you more depth of emotion.
So more than twice as long. So, anyways, your friend had it on in the background.
I'm giving you the whole argument.
Okay.
It's
phenomenal. This is why it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. You have to live up to The Wizard of Stinking Oz.
That's right.
Right? From 1939, one of the best movies revered ever made. So that's a tall order. Yeah. And you're going to make a sequel to that? Good luck. And then you're going to take on arguably one of the best Broadway shows ever made, which is Wicked. And by the way, and then you're going to try to compete with the musical talent of arguably 2 of the greatest singers in the world, Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel. Right? So you got these 3 unbelievable things you're trying to tackle. And it's like, good luck with living up to all 3 of those things. Now, on top of that, so you not only are you taking on that challenge, but then you have to not only do that, but you have to elevate it. You have to make it better. Right? Otherwise, why do it? Because think about this. Every live animation, did you ever see the live animation remake of The Little Mermaid?
No.
Don't ever see it. It's awful.
Good.
It is a lesser version of The Little Mermaid.
It's a 1 out of 10.
It's like a 3.5, 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Because, Flounder the fish, he can have big eyes when he's surprised, but when you have a real fish acting surprised, you can't make him with cartoon eyes. There's no expression, right? It's a lesser version on every level. Okay. So,
but not Wicked.
Wicked has to add character depth and emotion on top of everything else, or else why remake it? And so, anyway, all of that to say, it surpassed my expectations in every category.
And your friend said it was okay.
And my friend said, "Oh, I just didn't get it." And then I was so mad at the end when it was finally over, and it said to be continued. And I was like, "What? It was only part 1." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? This movie stands on its own as is, and it is incredible. It's incredible. It has surpassed everything." Okay. And I'm telling you, one last thing.
So how dare somebody have a different opinion than you about a movie?
No, that is not why I'm mad.
He's furious about this.
What I'm mad is that you didn't give it the time of day. You just turned it on in the background and then judged it.
She gave it 3 hours.
No, she said it was on in the background. And she's like, oh, it was just sort of on.
But she made it to the end and saw that it was to be continued.
And then decided to critique it. And then as I was trying to lift it up and explain the grandeur of this feat that Wicked has conquered, she says, oh, I just didn't get it. It was terrible.
Okay.
She didn't use the word terrible, but still.
It was, okay. Well, how dare she?
Yes, it made me mad.
She clearly did not listen to you.
And anybody who's listening.
So he's mad that she didn't listen.
When you want somebody to appreciate that, what you appreciate, and they don't.
And they don't really put in that real effort.
That's correct.
I see.
That's what made Chris mad.
I see.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You understand now, Jeff?
I do understand.
Okay.
All right. Well, next time Chris wants me to do something, I better do it.
Well, if I'm
with all my heart, I better do it. Not just not just part way, man. You're gonna get in trouble.
With all my heart.
Yeah, with all my heart, Chris.
Oh, it's so funny. Okay, that's it.
Okay, talking about with all my heart.
Ooh.
Jehoshaphat becomes king, and he wants to lead just like his dad did.
With all his heart.
With all his heart in Israel.
Good
following God with all his heart.
I like it.
Was that a good transition?
I like it.
Okay. So in 2 Chronicles chapter 17 is where we're at in this.
Yes.
And it says this, Jehoshaphat.
Yes.
Jehoshaphat.
It's ridiculous.
It's like a rapper's name.
It's ridiculous, is what it is.
Huh? It's like a rapper name.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Fat Jehosh? I don't know.
Oh,
Jehoshaphat.
You're saying rapper because it's fat, P-H-A-T?
Fat, P-H-A-T.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Jehoshaphat, Asa's son, became the next king. He strengthened Judah to stand against any attack from Israel. He stationed troops in all the fortified towns of Judah, and he assigned additional garrisons to the land of Judah and to the towns of Ephraim that his father Asa had captured. The Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he followed the example of his father's early years and did not worship the images of Baal. He sought his father's God and obeyed his commands instead of following the evil practices of the kingdom of Israel. So the Lord established Jehoshaphat's kingdom and control over the kingdom of Judah. All the people of Judah brought gifts to Jehoshaphat, so he became very wealthy and highly esteemed. He was deeply committed to the ways of the Lord. He removed the pagan shrines and Asherah poles from Judah. In the 3rd year of his reign, Jehoshaphat sent his officials to teach in all the towns of Judah. These officials included Ben-Hail, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nathaniel, and Micaiah. He sent Levites along with them, including Shemaiah, Nathaniah, Zebediah, Asahel, Shemiramoth, Jehonathan, Adonijah, Tobijah, and Tobadonijah. There'll be a quiz after, by the way. He also sent out the priests Elishama and Jehoram. They took copies of the book of the law of the Lord and traveled around through all the towns of Judah, teaching the people. Then the fear of the Lord fell over all the surrounding kingdoms, so that none of them wanted to declare war on Jehoshaphat. Some of the Philistines brought him gifts and silver as tribute, and the Arabs brought 7,700 rams and 7,700 male goats. So Jehoshaphat became more and more powerful and built fortresses and storage cities throughout Judah. He stored numerous supplies in Judah's towns and stationed an army of seasoned troops at Jerusalem. His army was enrolled according to ancestral clans. From Judah, there were 300,000 troops organized in units of 1,000 under the command of Adnah. Next in command was Jehohanan, who commanded 280,000 troops. Next was Amasiah, son of Zikri, who volunteered for the Lord's service with 200,000 troops under his command. From Benjamin, there were 200,000 troops equipped with bows and shields, and they were under the command of Eliada, a veteran soldier. Next in command was Jehozabad, who commanded 180,000 armed men. These were the troops stationed in Jerusalem to serve the king, besides those Jehoshaphat stationed in the fortified towns throughout Judah.
Wow.
That's a lot of names, dude.
Dude, I told you this a long time ago. I told you this actually during the break in between podcasts that early on, I said, I want you to be the one who reads because, number one, you have a really great voice. You really do. and you read very well. But it's mainly because I would slaughter these names.
I don't want to say any of those names.
I don't want to say any of these names.
Yeah.
It's the main reason why. I was like, hey, you do the reading because I would butcher all of those. And yet you got through them. And sometimes when you burn through those, like you really read those fast. I would have paused and I would still be on that section right now. I would be like, Tobadonijah.
Well, I thought it was funny talking about the names Adonijah, Tobijah, and Tobadonijah.
Which is
what is that about?
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
I don't know.
And
Shemiramoth.
That's terrible. It's terrible. But let's just
Who knows?
start out with,
They might all be in heaven going, "Come on, man, say my name right." Just one time, one preacher say my name right.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyways,
say my name. Say my name. Hey, Jehoshaphat was Asa's son.
yes.
He became the next king.
So Asa was a pretty good king, and Jehoshaphat became a better king.
Yeah, a better king. And remember how it said that Asa never tore down the temples?
Yes.
And you said that he almost went all the way?
Yeah, I wished he did.
Yeah. And Jehoshaphat went all the way.
He did.
He went
He
all
was
the way.
deeply committed to the ways of the Lord, and he removed the pagan shrines and Asherah poles from Judah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the verse 6.
Yep. And so he actually he's like, hey, my dad was good. My dad was a good man. Mm-hmm. And but I tell you what I would do.
Yeah.
I would go all the way, and I would.
As a family, we have some unfinished business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did.
Yeah.
And so look, guess what happens? Shocked face. He gets blessed.
Yeah.
Right. He gets blessed. They prosper. He gets stronger. He has more influence, and God blesses them and honors him. You know?
I love the fact that Jehoshaphat saw his dad at his best, and he saw his dad at his worst.
True.
And, all of us have grown up with adults in our lives where we saw the best and the worst. And I think right now we live in a culture where it's okay for us to choose to kind of a victim mentality because we saw the adults in our life at their worst.
Yeah.
But what about adopting the best?
Right.
Hey, that drunk father, did he get up and go to work? Did he keep paying the bills? Did he, right?
Right.
Yes, you saw the worst. But don't be a victim because of the worst. And I'm not saying that you weren't victimized. I'm not saying that. I was victimized as a kid.
Especially if it's serious abuse.
Right. And I went through serious physical abuse,
yes,
right?
That's right.
But
that's right. I almost forgot. You have a pedestal to stand on there a little bit.
Yeah.
Or not a pedestal, platform.
Yeah, a platform. So, but you have a choice. If bad things have happened in your life, or if you've seen the adults in your life before you do bad things, that doesn't give you the right to go ahead and be, choosing this victim mentality of I'm never going to achieve, or these things are the things that hold me back, or this is why I'm miserable. Instead, what you see is Jehoshaphat saw his dad at his best and at his worst, and Jehoshaphat decided to embrace the God of his father's early days. Right? And then to lead the people well. He led the people. He tore down those temples. He tore down the Asherah poles. He set up strong armies, and the people learned to love him. And they gave him all these blessings because he decided, hey, my family has some unfinished business. So if you grew up in a world, if you grew up in a life where, hey, there were some really bad things that adults did around me, you can decide to do the best parts of what they did. And you can at the same time simultaneously reject the bad things and say, my family has some unfinished business and I'm going to be the one. So in my life, my biological father was an alcoholic. I've told that story many times. There was a lot of violence. There were all these things. And so I just decided the unfinished business in my family's life was an alcohol-based issue. Mm-hmm. So I decided at an early age, I'll never touch it. I'm never going to drink it. And as a result, my children never hid under the bed. They never hid in the closet. My wife never ducks when I raise my hand, right? Because she doesn't have some kind of sense I'm about ready to beat her, all that kind of stuff. There's a tremendous amount of peace. And I decided rather than being a victim of what he did to us, I decided, you know what? I'm going to embrace the good sides of adulthood, and I'm going to go ahead and finish the business. I'm going to fix the thing that was broken in my family. Mm-hmm. And that's what you see Jehoshaphat do, right? And there's a choice here. That's what I'm saying. There's a choice, and he took the nation to the next level. Remember, he broke up all these armies into tribes. They were very tribal. They were very family-oriented. Right. So the king really oftentimes for the whole nation really felt like the dad of the whole nation. That's what it felt like for them. That's why they just thought, yay, we've got the best king, right? It's because we're all family. They're all family. Right. And so then to have him rise up and go, no, we're not going to be oppressed. We're not going to do what the nation to the north of us are doing. And we're going to go ahead and finish the unfinished things. We're going to get better at what my dad did. We're going to reject the bad that he did. I'm going to set my people free. I'm going to set them up to prosper again. And we're going to follow God. I love everything about Jehoshaphat's early reign that way.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Hey, I think this would be a funny thing to say. So during the Christmas services that we just had, so Heritage just got through 3 weeks ago, 22 Christmas services, and we had somebody make a comment. You remember what I'm going to say here? Somebody make a comment, and you were out on the stage preaching. Mm-hmm. I was in the wings with the choir. And I was about to go out and jump in the choir and just, just be a part of it. Yeah. And this lady makes a comment, and she's watching you on the TV because on the side wings, we call them the wings, she's watching you and you're preaching and you're giving the gospel, you're doing candle lighting. And here I am acting like crazy and goofy, right? Yeah. And on the side, laughing, yucking it up, and jumping in the choir and all this. When I wasn't supposed to be in the choir, I'm never,
right. They had a uniform actually. They were all wearing all black. Yeah, you come out, you're just wearing like a normal shirt.
Yeah,
and
I'm wearing
jeans
like a normal shirt and jeans. And she goes, as two of our pastors of Heritage, she goes, two of our leaders, she goes, I look at him, and she points to the TV. She points to you. She goes, he's like the dad, and she goes, and you're sort of like the uncle. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah. She goes, but I don't mean it in a negative way. I'm like, oh, you don't, do you? And I just thought it was one of the funniest things. I laughed so hard. Yeah. I thought it was so funny. And she goes, well, yeah. She goes, the dad is going to be somebody who, he's probably not going to let you get away with much.
Yeah. That's what she told me. Not going to let you get away with much. Chris is way more fun.
She goes, but well, the crazy uncle, yeah, probably so. Yeah. It's hilarious.
One of the I'm going to do a memorial service tomorrow for a friend, and he's young. His family, he's kind of like the glue of the family. Yeah. And it's a very extended Italian family, huge Italian family. And he was like the mentor to all the nephews and nieces, and everybody's loved him. And so several of the moms, we were all around in the hospital, and there's 25 people in this hospital room. They're all telling stories. Yeah. And several of the moms were talking about how they tried to have rules, but Sam was always the one that would sneak and break the rules with the nephews and nieces, right? So they all knew the crazy uncle would be the right. So one of my friends, she's fantastic. I'd known her for a long time. She's his sister, and she had a rule for a long time that her kids no chewing gum. She just didn't think gum was a good idea. And finally, Sam always was chewing gum, so he finally was able to get her to let the kids have gum one time. And she said, okay, only with me, only with mom, and only on holidays. So then Sam finally knows he's got his foot in the door, and he's the uncle. He sent the next day, had thousands of pieces of bubble gum delivered to their home from Amazon, this huge box. And with a note from Uncle Sam, it's a holiday somewhere every day.
That's hilarious.
So that's the difference between the parent and the uncle. Right, the uncle's like, yeah, let's go have some fun. Right. That's what she's saying, right? Is that I'm the fuddy-duddy. This is going to make everybody toe the line, and you're the one that everybody's going to have fun with.
Well, there's both positives and big negatives with both of those, right? Right? Because the dad's the better one of the choice, for sure. So there's the positive side of it. So I'm just the crazy uncle.
No, it's that she loves spending time with you and she has fun, right? That's it. And so it was even funnier in the way that she said it. The whole thing, that was just great. So we should get back to this. There's one more thing I wanted to highlight before we kind of finish up and remind ourselves again of the importance of deciding to keep going deeper in your relationship with God. All these names, sometimes people ask, why do they name so many names? Yeah. Right? Why? Really? So the Holy Spirit inspired the author of 2 Chronicles to name 25 or 30 key people. And the Bible says, Book of Romans says, give honor to whom honor is due. Mm-hmm. These are godly men that stepped up, risked their lives to protect the people of God who were all trying to do the right thing. And they stepped in. It wasn't possible for Jehoshaphat's reign to be successful. It wasn't possible for Jehoshaphat's reign to have the kind of prosperity and peace without these guys being willing to put their lives on the line. And so God goes, hey, we're going to give you an honorable mention in the Bible. For thousands of years, we've been trying to plow through these goofy names and try to figure out who they are because what they did really mattered, right? And so sometimes, you're not a king, I'm not a king. I don't know that anybody's going to remember our names too much. It's not like we transformed the whole world, right? But man, it'd be nice to get an honorable mention in heaven, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what happens here is these guys did it. I love the one guy, Amasiah, son of Zikri, who volunteered for the Lord's service. I love it. People tell me all the time, God, Jeff, I don't know what God wants me to do. What do you want to do for God? Go do that until he stops you, right? I really still feel like I'm a pastor because of that. I don't know that I ever had a lightning moment where God said, Jeff, I want you to be a pastor. But man, I really wanted to serve the Lord in ministry, and I loved that verse. David says, he'd rather be a doorkeeper in the house of God, right? And I just remember going, that's what I want to do. And so I just pursued that. God opened the doors. He's blessed it. And I think it's kind of the same thing. Amasiah, the son of Zikri, volunteered for the Lord's service. And he gets an honorable mention in the Bible because he led 200,000 troops to protect Jehoshaphat's kingdom. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's
right?
very neat.
So if you haven't had a lightning bolt moment, go volunteer. Do a thing. What does your heart beat for God? Go do that thing and do it until God stops you.
That's great. That's great advice.
Yeah.
And that's a great place to end. So
on our 600th episode.
Yes.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yay.
Man.
Hey, congratulations to you, Jeff. And thanks for being the one who carries the load.
Well, but no, we do it together. I couldn't do any of the things you do on this podcast.
That's true. That's true. You can't sing.
No, I can. I just choose not to.
You can sing. Yeah, you just don't sing very often.
That's right.
All right. Hey, we will see you hopefully on Monday on the Bible Guys.